today on SportsGrid. I'm Kevin Walsh, and that is Joe Lisi. And I know there's some of you out there who have been waiting for this one. There's some tough results on that slate yesterday, Joe. Best bet segment? Not great. Not great. Not great. Philadelphia Eagles.
Smashed.
Not great. Not great. Not great. All in all, though, we had a great time.
Oh, we had a great time, and we
most.
broke it down. We got a majority of those games right yesterday.
Did we?
Well, we got Titans.
Okay, don't start.
You want me to go to Cook Browns? I mean, people only forget about the losers. No, well, I will say I was dead wrong with the Eagles, so shout out and apologies, okay? I did have a loss. Not my first, certainly not my last. I can handle it. I'm a big boy.
Listen, here's the deal. We did get a couple of games right. I think I finished the day 5-5. So listen, you'll take it for what it is. But Joe, there was a team who went to this slate 5-5, had to have it, or it was going to feel like curtains on the season, and a lead that was Indy's the entire way. As the game went on, never felt like enough. It was 20-9 entering the fourth quarter for the Colts. And yet the Chiefs move up from 5-5 to 6-5. They find themselves now, I don't even want to say with breathing room, but at least capable of taking a deep breath. I don't think it is full-on panic anymore in Kansas City. The defending AFC champion is a group now that has to feel good coming off of this victory in overtime. How do you feel about their performance yesterday?
Well, again, I mean, they had to have the game, and they got it, right? And when the game was on the line, the defense stepped up, made plays, and Pat Mahomes puts up 352 passing yards and puts his team in a position to steal it. Now, when you look at the flip side of that with the Colts, they did have a 20-9 lead in this matchup. And defensively, we're containing Pat Mahomes and that offense. They contain, for the most part, Xavier Worthy finishes with 59 yards. Rashee Rice does come on in the second half. That was the big story. And again, everything was there for the taking for the Colts to win this game. They just couldn't close it out. And that's where you have to credit the AFC champs and the Kansas City Chiefs for finding a way to pull this game out. But again, I still think the weaknesses that we talked about in the pregame are still there, Kev. Again, the defense was good. It wasn't elite, but it made plays when it had to. And I think the Colts, again, made more mistakes than the Chiefs made great plays in pulling it out.
So I think that you are right to not feel that this is some ceremonious victory for Kansas City. Aha! They are the best in the league, best in the conference. Kansas City, we talked about it, had lost 2 in a row coming into this game. In the same season, they had not lost 3 straight with Patrick Mahomes. They should have won this game and were booked as favorites to do so, but no cover. 3.5s, by the way, were gone at close, up to 4.5
right
in some spots. They didn't spend a second of this game covering that number. In fact, Kansas City didn't spend any time in this game with the lead. The field goal goes in, that's game. They were not leading at any point in this football game, so I look at it for the Chiefs, and I think, look, there's enough pedigree in the room between Mahomes and Reed and Spagnuolo and Chris Jones and Travis Kelce that they could avoid a 3-game losing streak. But I don't think this is a chest out type of performance. I don't view this as here we go now with Kansas City. I think there are still flaws within this football team, and some of that is offensively. I don't find them to be consistent enough. I think there are too many areas of the Chiefs' offense that can let them down any given Sunday, whether that be drops, bad O-line play. They lost Trey Smith in this football game. An awful run attack, Mahomes turnovers, and I'm not saying that you see that every game. What I am saying is I think any of these issues could arise on any given Sunday. Some popped up here versus the Colts. I know Mahomes had a gaudy, 352 passing yards. I don't see the Chiefs as the team to beat. But I'll say this, Joe. The Indianapolis Colts being booked as favorites to win the AFC is outrageous and unjustifiable. There's no way you could look me in the face and tell me the Indianapolis Colts should be AFC favorites.
No, not at all. I agree, especially after they lose on the road yesterday. Here is the question, though. I think when you look at both sides, if we would have asked 100 people, 100 of them probably would have said Kansas City needs the game, they would have won, right? And would have probably have said they would have won in dominating fashion. I don't think that if you were picking Kansas City, you thought they were going to struggle and just get by a field goal. So when you look at the performance and you say, man, this team had 9 points basically heading into the fourth quarter at home against a good defense, but certainly we're not calling Indianapolis the Cleveland Browns in that front seven, right? You know, teams have exposed them throughout the regular season, and yet they held this team in check at home in a must-win type of game. So when you talk about consistency, when you talk about home field advantage, and you talk about Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, clearly they were on life support yesterday. And again, I just think it came down to Indy is still a young team trying to figure it out and didn't have that killer instinct to really put the nail in the coffin. And that's why when I look at the game and I say, okay, yeah, Kansas City won. They should have won, but they really struggled. This game goes into overtime, and Jonathan Taylor only has 58 yards on the ground. And you say to yourself, they win it by 3?
Right.
I mean, they couldn't turn over Daniel Jones in the back end at all?
No.
I mean, that's my point when we talk about the weaknesses of Indianapolis, big picture, playoff type of team. You worry about Daniel Jones. You worry about this team from a defensive perspective, and they brought it in a must-win game. They just couldn't close it out. I would believe more in Indy now, right? So after that performance,
I'm going to push back.
You could push back, but I don't disagree with you saying that they should be not booked as number one.
Okay.
But I would still back them on a road type of environment in a playoff type of situation.
Well, here's why I disagree, right? I think now, I feel pretty confident, the Colts at home would not be booked as favorites over Kansas City or Buffalo or Baltimore, for that matter. I don't believe that's how the books would treat it. And I don't think there's a path for the Colts to be hosting New England or Denver. So I don't see a path for the Colts to be booked as a round 2 favorite. How in the world are they the favorites in the conference?
Are they? Would you make them? You wouldn't make them favorite over Drake May and
not in New England.
Okay.
They're not hosting New England.
Right.
You got to look at it now. You have an 8-3 Colts team, right, who has 4 games left against the Jags and Texans, with the other 2 being at Seattle and home versus the Niners.
Not easy.
I'm going to say this. I think it is more likely the Indianapolis Colts do not win the AFC South than win the AFC. And the odds would agree with that statement, by the way. This is a Colts team for me. They did an excellent job beating bad teams and smashing them. That is consistently overvalued year over year over year. How have they done against projected playoff teams? Rams, Chiefs, Steelers lost. They smashed the Chargers, and they should have lost to the Broncos if not for a field goal call. We could be staring down the barrel of a team 1-4 against playoff teams.
Right. No, you're right. But you see, like, I take a different side. Forget the Pittsburgh game because they were down big in that matchup, right?
Okay.
But one score by both potentially the best team now in the NFC in their house, and 3 points to the best team or that everybody's anointing as AFC champions, the Chiefs, in their house, they lose by a field goal. I'm just saying. So for me, my perception is, hey, this team gets into a playoff type of situation. They have showed me, even though they lost those games, catching points, I'm willing to back this team.
And again, maybe you get out of a certain situation with a cover, Joe. At the end of the day, you're right. They covered this football game. When you are booked as the favorite,
true,
I got to think. I got to stack wins.
There's a flaw. There's definitely weaknesses there.
At the end of the day, as much as they weren't supposed to win this game,
they
off
did.
a bye, up double digits going into the fourth, they were the highest scoring offense in football.
I know.
Where were the remainder of those points that they were waiting on in this game? Let's be fair, though. The Indianapolis Colts didn't have the roughest Sunday in the NFL. One of your leading candidates would be the defending champs. We'll talk about that next.
close to $1 million in volume being traded right now in the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's the fan favorite. They love talking about Stafford, the 38-year-old guy. He's the Super Bowl champ. We got the family. Any opportunity to pump McVay and Stafford as a team, they do that. They love this team. They love Aaron Donald, and rightfully so. Best defensive player, but they love to pump up Stafford.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like, it just burns up quick. And you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatterby.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy.
Yeah.
But possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The future of the prediction markets, I think, at least for now, may be in the hands of the federal courts. But the good news for those who support prediction markets is that these court battles may last for another 2 to 3 years before we get clarity around the law. And nominee Seelig was handpicked by Donald Trump, not because he was neutral on prediction markets, but because he would do nothing to slow it down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
My, oh my, folks, my, oh my. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys played a game that I am still trying to wrap my head around. 24-21, the Dallas Cowboys win and cover as a slight dog. This game staying under the total. 24 unanswered points by the Dallas Cowboys. Philly was up 21-0 early in this game. And early in this game, Joe, I felt I had never been more correct about a football game, maybe in my entire life. And yet, I recorded you know how we do sometimes, you record a video, you're going to send it out, you know what I mean, little victory lap. I didn't send it out. I almost wish I did. People would have had a field day, because it was 21-0 at the time of recording that little 1-minute blurb. As I still gather myself, incredibly, you might have to answer for more stuff here than me because you're the Eagles guy.
Oh,
Well, you are.
I was wrong.
It's not about being wrong.
Dad.
It's what did you learn from this game? What did you take away from this game?
Again.
Why were you wrong?
No. Again, the inconsistency with the offense showed through glaringly in the second half. And I don't know if it's because they take the foot off the gas. They don't know how to make halftime adjustments. But the same concerns that this team had prior to basically the last two games against Detroit and Green Bay have shown through in this matchup against the divisional opponent. And I was dead wrong in the breakdown. I said they're the best team, and right now after this loss, they're not, because they have now a killer instinct that is lacking. You would think that, good teams and elite teams not only win on the road, they close those games out. They don't leave the back door wide open to where you get abused. It's one thing not to cover. It's another thing to lose the game outright. And again, yes, so the game plan on the coaching side, Sirianni and the offensive staff, but then the offensive line now is a concern because clearly Saquon and that rushing attack are totally dead to rights. Whatever they had with Kellen Moore is gone out the window. And Kellen Moore is trying to establish that with Devin Neal and that rushing attack with Taysom Hill, and he needs his head examined as well, but that's besides the point. The Philadelphia Eagles have lost their mojo for the most part. Can they get it back? Absolutely. Do they have the playmakers to get it back? Absolutely. But you look at that performance, and you see 24 unanswered points and multiple opportunities to put the nail in the coffin, and they failed to do that. That's on Sirianni. That's on the locker room. But I think if you would ask A.J. Brown, he thought the game went perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he had more fun than some of the victories they've had this year. So this is a very complicated game for me to perfectly articulate how I feel. I'm going to start with this piece of it, okay? I hope that wherever today, tomorrow, yesterday, you find analysis around this game, the people who have spent seasons blaming Jalen Hurts are awake, not asleep at the wheel in their analysis, and can actually offer you something insightful, aside from this desk. I mean, we're going to handle that business, but at this point now, I'm a little tired of being the only person, maybe Lisi being the only other person who understands that the Eagles' problems are not Jalen Hurts. He is, in fact, their best offensive player and the only thing they can hang their hat on. And watching this play out like this and watching that be abundantly clear, I am in no way saying I am happy. But if there is any reward in this game, it is that people will actually have to look at a coaching staff that is potentially leaking stories to blame the Super Bowl MVP, and a running game that has been atrocious outside of the Super Bowl MVP who can step up for them in spots. The Eagles have one of the least efficient run games in football. It is exaggerated by an inept play calling who just keep thinking, well, at some point it's going to look like last year when the down and distance doesn't make sense or the spot on the field doesn't make sense for a run, and yet they call those time and time and time again. People keep wondering, why are the Eagles always in 3rd and long? Why are the Eagles always punting? Why are they always going 3 and out? Because Saquon Barkley is averaging under 4 yards a carry.
Yep.
Whether it is the offensive line, Saquon is pressing, the play calls are predictable. It's a little A, little B, little C. But you have a run-heavy offense that can't run the ball. And it's up to Jalen Hurts to bail them out time and time again. The reality is, as today a lot of people will look to sing the praises of Dallas, they should not have scored enough to win this game in landing at 24. It was 21-0. Dak did what he's done all year long. No-show it. But he's the king of the fake comeback. Except this time, it actually worked because the defense didn't give up any more points. He was as probably confused as anybody. He's like, what do you mean? These aren't garbage time yards? These count? Notice all of a sudden he doesn't close the door on that late touchdown. He's getting balls inside the 10, not close enough for Dak. You got to get him inside the 5 to make do on that. George Pickens looks like the greatest receiver in football. Give him credit. CeeDee Lamb is horrified of the Eagles, evidently. Far more scared of that than hitting the bottle before a game against Vegas. For the Philadelphia Eagles, though, Joe, I don't look at this game and think, oh, they can't win a Super Bowl. But they aren't Super Bowl favorites. They must look inward in order to get better, or they will get beat for self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, they're not as consistent, obviously, as they were last year. And
Right.
They're certainly not as consistent on the offensive side of the ball. When they need to get a first down to close it out, they, for some reason in the second half, they can't find the right play. They don't believe in the play call or whatever it is, Kev. They just don't follow through. And it's not on Hurts. Again, he steps up with 289 yards through the air, right? And again, he's not even running as much. I mean, 7 carries, 33 yards. I mean, the design runs are not consistent week to week to week. But Saquon, 10 carries, 22 yards, 3.5 yards per carry
about 10 carries too many, quite frankly.
For the NFL's leading rusher last year and leading rushing attack.
Yeah.
This is a Kellen Moore. This is an offensive line issue. This is Sirianni now having to figure it out in the second half of the season, because if they were to play, let's say, the Rams in another situation, they're probably going to lose.
This is a team, though, I will say, who you watched.
And I love this team. It's just they have the talent. They just need to channel it at the right time, and they're not doing that.
Almost 100 penalty yards, 2 fumbles lost. Again, a self-inflicted game. The idea that Dallas is going to the playoffs, by the way, give your head a shake. We'll talk about the new Super Bowl favorites after the break on SportsGrid.
Close to $1 million in volume being traded right now in the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's the fan favorite. They love talking about Stafford, the 38-year-old guy. He's the Super Bowl champ. We got the family. Any opportunity to pump McVay and Stafford as a team, they do that. They love this team. They loved Aaron Donald, and rightfully so. Best defensive player, but they love to pump up Stafford.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like, it just burns up quick. And you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatterby.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy.
Yeah.
But possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The future of the prediction markets, I think, at least for now, may be in the hands of the federal courts. But the good news for those who support prediction markets is that these court battles may last for another 2 to 3 years before we get clarity around the law. And nominee Seelig was handpicked by Donald Trump, not because he was neutral on prediction markets, but because he would do nothing to slow it down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Pro Football Today right here on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh and Joe Lisi. And Joe, listen, like you said, not my first loss, certainly won't be my last, and we always step up and own it. Tampa Bay, as a dog, 7.5. It does not matter. They did not cover this game. They did not step up in this game. Now, I think as all gamblers, do I think this could have looked different if the Cade Otton interception fumble weirdness was called what I think would have been correctly? Do I think that could have changed the game? Maybe, but it
was a terrible call.
It was an awful call. It led to a lot of arguments.
With an expedited review, okay.
Now,
100% positive that his knee wasn't down and he didn't have possession.
Here is what I will say, though, Joe. We talk about who should be booked as favorites, this, that, and the third. And just because a team is booked as a favorite does not mean that they are going to win the Super Bowl. And just because you think a team should be booked as the favorite does not mean that you are picking them to win the Super Bowl. So with those clarifiers, the Rams, clear as day, should be booked as Super Bowl favorites. A lot of times we like to, if it wasn't, erase this loss. This team's 2 losses, the blocked field goal games against Philadelphia and the overtime loss to the Niners where they had a fumble going into the goal line. Listen, coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? But they could be 11-0. They are dominant both sides of the ball, and if you don't bring it in a certain game on one side, they're going to let you know you didn't bring it on that side of the ball, and they're going to do it for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
They've got a Super Bowl winning coach-quarterback combination. They've got a lot of talent, again, whether that be Puka, Jared Verse, Devontae Adams. We know the names. They are the rightful Super Bowl favorites in the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, a different team than Philly because they were up big in the second half, and in the third quarter late, they're still chucking the football with Matt Stafford. They're still trying to get another score as opposed to just running out the clock and getting out of Dodge. And that's the difference when you look at this team right now, and the defense has stepped up. Obviously, Jared Verse and that front seven are as active as any, front seven in the NFL. They pounded Baker Mayfield and then Teddy Bridgewater when Mayfield got hurt, and they're deserving right now. They have a complimentary running backs. Blake Corum as a backup to Kyron Williams. Both of those guys can run and catch. Offensive line has protected Matt Stafford throughout the regular season. I mean, this was a player we weren't even sure would make it to this point in the season with the herniated disc, right?
100%.
And here he is having his best year. And McVay is one of the best coaches when that game plan is working. Oh, yeah. He'll put up 50 on you. He ain't taking his foot off the gas.
Nope.
And that's the one thing I think when you back the Rams that you have to love big picture, that this team is obviously looking for an NFC championship and second Super Bowl title.
And I'll say as far as the MVP goes, Stafford's a big favorite. He should be. I, at this point, actually would be pretty surprised if he doesn't win it because I'm not saying there isn't difficulty in the plays, but Stafford and McVay, the combination, you know how when you're watching someone try and get the Heisman, you're like, well, we know what this is going to be.
Right.
That's what it looks like when they're inside the 5.
They
don't even call run plays anymore.
No.
This kid, Kyron Williams, is never going to score another touchdown. The schedule is there. Carolina, Arizona, Detroit, Seattle, Atlanta, Arizona. You're talking about a team booked as favorite in all but one of these games. Maybe they'd be booked as a favorite in Seattle. Who knows how things look by the time we get there. But here's what I also think the Rams are. And I feel bad saying this. I think they're a bit of a litmus test if we should take it seriously. Philly, whether they should have won or lost, really close. Colts, close. At Texans defense, the real deal. Close. Seattle, close. Niners, the one time, close.
Tampa,
Joey?
I know, but the Tampa, is Tampa just a 500 team now? I mean,
here's the thing. I know they're injured. 3 games in a row against New England, Buffalo, and the Rams, and not one time did they look the level. Not once did they. 0-3 against the number.
Yeah.
We don't know what the Baker status is going to be, but the Bucs just had a 3-week stretch. You know I hate saying this. It does not feel like we should It does not feel like we should be taking them serious as NFC contenders.
No, I mean wild card maybe, and that's
no. Their only path is winning the division. They're not a wild card team.
Well, I'm just saying
they're either going to hold off Carolina or not.
I'm just saying they. If we're talking about this team big picture, you need Baker under center. I do believe they're a very good football team if they had McMillan and they had Evans and they had Bucky Irvin back.
I think.
Here's the thing. I think
Ready
the
for
offensive. Yeah, God.
Next 3 games all home: Arizona, New Orleans, Atlanta.
Okay, so
they follow that with at Carolina, at Miami, home against Carolina.
Okay, they could be.
So they may not lose another game.
Right.
Remember these 3 games. That's the problem. That's the problem. Look, there's a lot of other things that we need to get into, though, here, including the new starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, as Shedeur Sanders gets the Browns in the win column. We'll talk about it next.
The future of the prediction markets, I think, at least for now, may be in the hands of the federal courts. But the good news for those who support prediction markets is that these court battles may last for another 2 to 3 years before we get clarity around the law. And nominee Seelig was handpicked by Donald Trump, not because he was neutral on prediction markets, but because he would do nothing to slow it down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
A huge number out there on Cason Wallace to win Defensive Player of the Year at 500 to 1. That is worth your attention. And a number that I talked about before the season that I still think should be lower is Mark Daigneault to win Coach of the Year at 11 to 1 in the NBA. If they win 70, he's a lock for top 3. If they win 73, it's his.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like it just burns up quick, and you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatovich.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy, but possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
close to $1 million in volume being traded right now in the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Rolling on my wrist is perfect timing. Lisi, the Cleveland Browns beat the Vegas Raiders. Now, I'm going to say, I think this is a game that people are going to be very cautious in terms of seeking analysis on, because people and the Shedeur Sanders conversations are often very extreme. They can be triggering. I think you're all in a safe space, and I think you know that here, listening to Joe and I, recap what we saw from Shedeur Sanders. But I just want to say this. I heard someone, not a Twitter bot, a real person, a real analyst, say, "Oh, this could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to bet against Shedeur Sanders. He may be the worst quarterback to ever start an NFL game." Come on. Come on. I mean, I'm not telling you Shedeur went out there and was incredible. That stat line is not as good as the game actually was. But Shedeur Sanders, Joe, did something we don't see Cleveland Browns quarterbacks do, and that's actually win their first game as the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. What did you take away from a 24-10 victory?
Again, I saw promise. That's the one thing. I mean, we saw some deep balls that were completed, the explosive plays. Now, granted, it was broken coverage, and he broke contain, and he improvised. But I saw more promising chunk plays against the Raiders. Now, granted, it was the Raiders and not a divisional opponent or a team that's in playoff contention. But I saw much more upside with him than I have with Dylan Gabriel that went down with a concussion. And we've watched both of these players play in college. Dylan Gabriel is a good college quarterback. He led his team to an undefeated record at Oregon. I get that. Mm-hmm. But he has been a deer in the headlights on the NFL level. And we talk about bad performances. I mean, Tyler Huntley had a bad performance. Some of the other backups in this league are horrible. Look at Dan Orlovsky when he played for the Lions. I mean, all of a sudden he's a guru. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, he throws for 8 yards, 209 yards. I mean, explosive plays, 2 touchdowns. Well, I don't know what more you could ask for.
I will say this. The passing touchdown again to Dylan Sampson was just like perfect to make this all ridiculous.
I understand.
I watched Josh Allen throw that same passing touchdown. So, listen, you're allowed to throw a screen pass and go for a score. It's also, again, his first touchdown pass. He threw, behind the line of scrimmage, right? But
he had the two big plays down one down to the 1 yard line and one over.
Yep, and he also threw a nightmarish interception. Here's really what I think happened in this game, okay? As far as Shedeur Sanders goes, I think Shedeur Sanders did enough to hold off giving the job back to Dylan Gabriel, and the Cleveland Browns agreed. And that's really all I think Shedeur Sanders was. That was the number one goal for Shedeur Sanders in this football game, was hold off Dylan Gabriel enough to get this job back. I think the bigger story for the Browns, though, Joe, is you have one of the greatest defensive players the NFL has ever seen in Myles Garrett. This is a 3-win football team. Myles Garrett is minus 1,500 to win Defensive Player of the Year. That shouldn't be possible.
He's going to break the sack record. He's got 18 sacks.
That's my point. I look at Cleveland. You could tell me this is ridiculous.
Let me hear it.
One of two things, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't know how Shedeur fits in.
All right, good.
Either next year you're looking to go out there and win at a high level, or you got to trade Myles Garrett.
Yeah, you have to.
Because this is crazy.
I know it's crazy, but he's got to be part of the foundation, Kev, next year.
Who does?
Garrett.
Well,
I mean, come on. You're going to take away your most dominant defensive player, maybe outside of
here's my
Reggie
only thing,
White
though.
statistically?
So this team, this Cleveland group just had themselves a great draft, okay?
Yeah, but
Schlesinger is the favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Judkins looks like the real deal.
Judkins is good. Sampson isn't all that bad. Mason Graham is solid, right? Again, Sanders gave him a moment.
They need
They've
wide
got-
receiver help.
Joe, what do you think they would get if Myles Garrett was available for trade this offseason?
They would get probably with 4 number ones.
He's going to
If Sauce got how many? 3?
2, I think.
I thought it was 3. It was
I think
2?
it was 2.
Then anywhere from 3 to 4.
Joe,
Number
like
ones.
you said, he's going to slaughter the sack record. I mean, he's not even going to break. He's going to smash it. He's going to.
Like you think he gets, what, 10 more sacks before the end of the year?
So I believe the record, if I'm not
22
mistaken,
and a half, 23 and a half?
I mean, he's getting 25.
I think he can finish with 28, 29. Do you think he can get to 30?
No, he can't. No, that's crazy.
Why?
Maybe. I don't know. What do you
12
think?
sack?
Niners, Titans, Bears, Bills, Steelers, Bengals. Oh,
Bengals with Flacco?
Last game, Cincinnati.
Yeah, could get 5.
Yeah. Well,
Titans with Cam Ward, a rookie?
True.
3, there's 8.
Street Ball Williams, give him a couple.
Oh, absolutely. Street Ball Williams.
Josh usually doesn't take sacks, but that might be his new gimmick. I don't know. Josh Allen I don't know. Maybe he thinks it's fun now.
What, to get sacked?
Yeah, I don't
he
know.
He doesn't run enough.
He was running into Will Anderson's arms.
You know.
I don't know. So you think, what would be the over-under for sacks right now?
Realistically, I would make it 25 and a half.
Now, come on. He's got 6 games left.
But again, Kev.
You think it's...
Kev, I know he's on that pace.
Yeah.
But you can't... Nobody's done it in the most is 23 and a half.
I know. I think
so my
you're
point
a little
is...
heavy. At 25 and a half.
Oh, you think under that?
Joe, that's...
I would set it...
that's 8 sacks.
Yeah, I would set it...
6 games. I mean, at some point, they got to...
Well, I would set it at...
Send 3 guys.
No, I would send the under and over at 25 and a half. 2 over or 3 over the... Because look at the pace that he's on.
24 and a half.
All right. Be shopping at your book.
But you like him to get through the 25 and a half.
Yeah, again, Titans, Bengals.
Hey, now.
And you think Burrow's going to be under center, or is it going to be old man Joe?
But I'm just saying, Titans, Joe, not for nothing.
We called that.
This team might be a little ATS machine all of a sudden.
All of a sudden, they got a little life.
Could be a bit of a wagon. Let me ask you this: there's a lot of chatter around next coach fired.
Yeah,
we've checked in with this a number of times here. We know the predictive markets, Kalshi, has their options out there for who that next coach fired could be. Stefanski close to saving his job?
Yeah.
What does he need to do to save the job? Did he already do it?
They have 3 wins.
3.
Think he gets to 5, he'll be all right.
They're going to be booked as favorites against the Titans. We know that.
So he might maybe get to 6. Titans, Bengals, and who else?
Next 2 games are home against the Niners and the Titans.
All right,
they then go to Chicago.
Right, not easy.
Then they are home for Buffalo and Pittsburgh.
They could beat Pitt. They beat Pitt last year.
And then they go to Cincinnati.
But they beat Pittsburgh last year. Give him Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and the Titans. I think he saves his job. He's over his win total of 5.5. Shador potentially, depending upon how he plays, and Garrett with 26 sacks.
So then let me ask you this. You think it's on the board Shador Sanders is the week 1 starter for the Browns next year?
That is a different conversation. It all depends on how he performs. If he's going to go out 180, 190, a touchdown and an interception, no. I think they shop around or they try to do something. If he goes out and starts 250, 275 like he did at Colorado, multiple touchdowns, and all of a sudden they're explosive, yeah, then I think he's got an opportunity. But just winning games is not good enough. I need to see it in the passing attack. First coach fired, you might start hearing that Pete Carroll train. Now, they fired Chip Kelly. I know, and they should have fired him.
I will tell you this.
I hope it's McDaniel.
They have too much respect for Pete Carroll to fire him in season.
You're right.
I don't really. I think
Raheem Morris, they got the win yesterday. Probably not.
Raheem Morris is slated as the favorite.
He gives you nothing, Kev. He's Arthur Smith 2.0. There's no. I mean, what's the allure of having Raheem Morris? Their defense isn't even great.
Are we really sure there's going to be another guy let go in season? We maybe have seen the last of the in-season fires, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think McDaniel. I've told you this. I think Mike McDaniel, 2025, 2026, head coach of the Miami Dolphins. We'll be right back on SportsGrid.
The future of the prediction markets, I think, at least for now, may be in the hands of the federal courts. But the good news for those who support prediction markets is that these court battles may last for another 2 to 3 years before we get clarity around the law. And nominee Seelig was handpicked by Donald Trump, not because he was neutral on prediction markets, but because he would do nothing to slow it down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
A huge number out there on Cason Wallace to win Defensive Player of the Year at 500 to 1. That is worth your attention. And a number that I talked about before the season that I still think should be lower is Mark Daigneault to win Coach of the Year at 11 to 1 in the NBA. If they win 70, he's a lock for top 3. If they win 73, it's his.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like it just burns up quick. And you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatterby.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy, but possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Close to $1 million in volume being traded right now in the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Pro football today, taking a look at what this Sunday brought us in the National Football League. A lot of interesting spots, Joe. We'll go through a few of them, and some in quick order here. Chicago, Pittsburgh, really depends when you got in. Bears cover, Steelers push. Maybe you found a hook on Pittsburgh. 31-28, another close Chicago Bears victory. But the emphasis is it's another Chicago Bears victory. They're 8-3 now, Joe.
Yeah, and they're going to probably exceed their win total, and that's all you could ask for in year one with Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams coming into his own. The defense has stepped up, and again, I know they're not great defensively, but they're winning games. And again, Caleb now has progressed, right? I don't know. If you're a Bear fan, there's optimism. I think when you look at that game yesterday and you look at the game play out, there's more concern with Pittsburgh than there is Chicago. These were games they got absolutely smashed in last year and lost. Now they're winning in year one with a new head coach.
I have a question.
All right.
So we've got 6 games left for the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
At Philly, at Green Bay.
At Philly, at Green Bay.
Home against the Browns, home against Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
At the Niners, home against Detroit. I think this team is very likely to be booked as an underdog in 5 of their 6 remaining games.
It's possible.
You say all you could ask for, get through the win total, beat some expectations. I don't think you can be 8-3 and say, if we miss the playoffs, it's fine.
No. I'm saying at worst 10-7.
Yeah, I think
and a wild card. I mean, I'm not saying.
It's tight. Here's the thing, Joe. The teams they're competing with,
Yeah.
they play all of them.
I know. And
They play all of them.
I understand that, but I mean, look, Kev, do we feel Detroit? We love Detroit's offense, right? Do we feel Detroit's hands down a hammer every week? They got pushed by Jameis Winston and the Giants.
I hear you.
I mean, come on. Do we believe Green Bay, this juggernaut that we were anointing at the start of the year that got shut down by Carolina and the Eagles in back-to-back weeks? Are we saying this is a juggernaut all of a sudden?
I'm not.
I'm just saying if you want to give them splits with Green Bay and Detroit potentially,
that's all they need.
Yeah, I know, and they could do that.
They win their home games against Green Bay, Detroit, and Cleveland.
I will say
they're in at 11 and 6.
I'll give their passing attack more consistency than Green Bay. Now, I know Christian Watson has come on, but Jordan Love, on a week-to-week, we don't know who the leading wide receiver is.
But
is it Matt Golden? Is it Jalen Reed when he's in there?
In that game, when you play a fake team, J.J. McCarthy, that's not a real offense that they had played on the other side.
Exactly.
That's not a real team.
But that's my point, though. Are you wowed by Green Bay's passing attack?
No, but again, I think they looked across the field and they knew the score. They knew. Nothing to worry about.
That kid, I don't know.
Listen, I think
look,
Detroit,
the rah-rah stuff, get it out,
No, he's
hey,
done.
Hey, guys, alter ego, number 9, here I come.
I think
Detroit. He looks like, I told you, Jack Doherty. He plays like him, too.
I think the Detroit result, it's one of those like, hey, we got to win. Maybe we can turn it around.
Look, I think Detroit is fine.
Really?
Making the play. Yeah, I think I would. If we're talking NFC North, Detroit is still the team.
No, come on. Packers are much better.
Defensively.
Well, sure.
Yeah, but I don't think Jordan Love is
Jared Goff's not good. Everyone knows that. We can keep pretending that he is, but he's not good.
Well, they play on Thanksgiving, so we should be able to figure it out sooner rather than later.
They already played once this year, so the Lions are trying not to get swept.
That was week 1 with a new OC and a new DC.
They have a new OC again.
It doesn't matter, though. Now they're in rhythm.
Are they?
They got one of the hottest running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs. Boop, boop.
Yeah, here's the rhythm. Gibbs, bail us out. They ran that play against Philly. They ran it against the Giants. Sure. You think the Packers don't have that one scouted?
What about Amon-Ra St. Brown?
The Giants are the worst rush defense in football. They fired their DC. Took them long enough. I don't know what they were waiting for that move. All right.
Bowen stunk.
Yeah, I know.
How many more games was he going to play?
What'd you make of New England, Cincinnati? Bengals cover.
They came out flat. I thought they looked.
Who did? New
Pats.
England?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Why? We counted it as a winner. We covered.
Cincinnati covered. I loved how they came out.
Yeah, that's it.
I didn't like how they
saw your tweets, too. Backdoor wide open for Tennessee and Bengals.
It sure was.
I said
backdoor.
he's going to kibosh us with this. Watch with this tweet. We were down 13.
I was trying to root him in.
I know.
Hold on. So you thought I was going to kibosh, and we went bang, bang.
Right.
So where's the thank you?
Oh, it was you that did it?
Well, I don't know. Apparently, it was going to be me who didn't do it. So it was either all blame me or no credit me. It was a lose-lose.
Yeah, that's the way it rolls.
You know what?
You came out
like Jalen Hurts said, comes with the position.
You came out at the start of the show and said we had a lot of apologizing to do, and we stepped up to the podium for the beats. But we also get a lot of credit for the wins.
No, it sounds like you get a lot of credit for the wins, and I'm
legendary. Legendary.
I don't know. I'll say this. This Cincinnati team could not. I can't believe Joe Burrow's coming back to play for this group. 10-0 New England was lifeless.
Maybe he doesn't want to go home for Thanksgiving.
They didn't have the lead going into half.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Well, look, I mean, again, Drake May and this team are good.
Okay.
Again, I'm not anointing Mike Vrabel and the Patriots as this juggernaut.
They're 10-2. They've won 9 in a row. They are 6-0 on the road. What do you get?
And what about Seattle? That was undefeated on the road, and all they do is step up, and now all of a sudden they have question marks, right? Because they lost one game to the Rams, and Sam Darnold took into a pumpkin.
Darnold's a turnover machine.
All right, but that's my point. You're gonna buy into Drake May that's never played a playoff game? Are you gonna buy into all of a sudden? All right.
But New England.
All right, go. Tell me about New England.
New England is a much bigger favorite to have a home playoff game compared to Seattle. I like New England in the AFC more than Seattle.
So I hit a nerve. New England is your flavor of the day. I get it.
No, actually, I think there's some pop on Denver all around.
I like Denver.
Oh, now you like Denver. Now you like Denver.
I like Denver.
All right. I played Sean Payton Coach of the Year. Any bout? Any bite?
I mean, he's deserving.
If he gets the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Deserving.
Right? Shane Steichen feels like
But
he's
people
dropping.
don't look at Denver as this dominant team. They look at Vrabel and New England as that.
Well, they've won 9 in a row.
Yeah, but come on.
That goes a long way.
They beat the Jets. They beat Sammy's
How about,
gutless
speaking
Bills.
of covering machines, Jetsies. Whoa, right inside that number. 14.5, I told you. Made it 13. Made it 13. Let's get a primetime preview after the break on SportsGrid.
The future of the prediction markets, I think, at least for now, may be in the hands of the federal courts. But the good news for those who support prediction markets is that these court battles may last for another 2 to 3 years before we get clarity around the law. And nominee Seelig was handpicked by Donald Trump, not because he was neutral on prediction markets, but because he would do nothing to slow it down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
A huge number out there on Case Wallace to win Defensive Player of the Year at 500 to 1. That is worth your attention. And a number that I talked about before the season that I still think should be lower is Mark Daigneault to win Coach of the Year at 11 to 1 in the NBA. If they win 70, he's a lock for top 3. If they win 73, it's his.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like it just burns up quick, and you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatterby.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy,
Yeah.
but possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Close to $1 million in volume being traded right now in the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, with you here on SportsGrid, we've got a Monday night football game to talk about. However, Lisi, just quickly, vibe check. Falcons, Saints, Cardinals, Jags, either one of those games speak to you?
Well, I mean, the best bet was the over in the Saints and Atlanta game, and we were on pace. We were.
When?
At the half. The total was 39.5.
All right. Yeah, you snuck out of there with a big second
There he
quarter.
is in the back, the hyena,
No
laughing away. Meanwhile, he didn't even watch the game. Again,
You had three. You had 3 on that opening draw. Come on.
Yeah, it was 13-7 at half.
Hey, listen, Joe. Yeah, but hold on.
Let me hear this.
1, 2, 3,
16-7. There you go.
All right,
And we had
Joe.
23 points.
Joe.
Here we go.
Joe. I don't know. I'm just saying.
You didn't watch the game.
Well,
I know you didn't watch this game.
Why not?
Because you were dialed into the Eagle game.
Joe, we were 5 drives in. We had a combined between these teams 6 total yards. Joe, come on.
The second half, they opened it up.
No, in the
Darnell
second
Mooney?
quarter.
No, Darnell Mooney.
The third quarter, there wasn't a point.
There was so it was an 8-minute drive to start the game, the third quarter.
Yeah,
and they had a
TOD.
first and goal inside the 10, and they blew it. Okay, with Taysom Hill behind center.
Right.
Or you have Shuck that they ran it 14 times to get inside the 10.
Right.
And then when they had to make a play, great old Kellen Moore, the genius, couldn't design a rollout.
Gutty win by the Jags?
Now, that Arizona team and Jonathan Gadden, he's another coach that is terrible. That offensive coordinator of Arizona is an absolute clown. He's a clown. He doesn't know how to run. He doesn't know. They pass. Their breakdown runs to pass have to be 85% pass to the run. They barely run. They get blown out in these games. The only reason why they were able to keep this game close was because how gutless Trevor Lawrence was yesterday with the turnovers.
3 interceptions.
I mean, horrible.
Not good.
Horrible. Put
Not
them
good.
in a position. One, they scored a touchdown with Walter Nolan off a strip sack.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 interceptions led to points for Arizona. I mean, it was horrible.
Yeah.
But they still found a way to
Sure
win
did.
it.
San Francisco, Carolina, big game tonight. Up to 7.5. Total 49.5.
I like the
this
over.
game speaks to this game speaks to you.
I'm thinking, you know what?
Go ahead.
Young for 250.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Purdy for 3.
Here we go.
With 275.
Here we go.
Jawan Jennings. He is the pure number 1. He's Purdy's favorite guy.
You can't just keep saying that.
He is, though.
Is he?
Okay, like Kendrick Bourne is not Mac Jones's favorite target.
I don't know. Last week, they were
He just
3 guys that
zones
had
in.
6
Mac
targets.
Jones, triple covered Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne, stop getting upset because you were betting Jennings while Bourne was around.
And all he did was throw to Bourne.
Okay, well now...
How many did Bourne have against the Rams? 175 receiving yards?
Is Jennings even healthy?
No, he wasn't in that game. But can you throw it to somebody outside Kendrick Bourne?
All right, so you like Jawan Jennings tonight. Another news, grass, green, sky, blue.
I like Xavier Legette.
Do you?
50 plus.
What about new favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Ted McMillan.
What do you think?
No, I mean, this probably is going to be. We should have did this in Dallas. I don't know why we should have just taken all the huge wide receivers. Smith for 80, Brown for 100, CD for 80, 70 or whatever he had. We would have killed it yesterday.
You're giving out losers in hindsight. Come on.
That was it. 275 for Hurts, 300 for Dak.
You're an honest man.
We missed it.
We should have had Hurts to throw 2 in any and all legs. All right, you're an honest man. We should have had Saquon anytime.
No, I'll give you credit. The one bet you had receiving it, and you know what? The fact that you said it, I didn't bet it. Because typically that's my MO, is the receiving game. You said Saquon with the Kelly Greens and that you didn't think he could run. I altered the rushing attack yesterday.
You're shot. You really are shot.
I am shot. Because I figured you weren't seeing it clearly.
So it all comes out. I've been seeing it clear all year, pal. Don't.
Pal. Now you're pal.
Don't come over this way, Johnny Big Potatoes.
All right.
A couple of 4 o'clock totals got you feeling left and right. That's interesting.
It is interesting.
I like CMC on the ground tonight.
Not in the receiving game?
No, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
What about this Rico Dowdle?
What do you like for Rico Dowdle?
I mean, anytime touchdown, I think he's minus, 185 tonight?
I slapped a CMC touchdown with Gonzaga, Mooney line.
Why don't we do double? CMC and Dowdle tonight. 2 each.
2. Oh, man. You are greedy. You are greedy.
It's not a bad bet.
Meanwhile, you're going to still have Bryce Young to throw for 600 in this game while you got each running back for 5 touchdowns. We'll do it tonight on Game Time Decisions. See you there.
It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In the 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
8 3-minute rounds. The gloves are 10 ounces. And Anthony Joshua weighs like 250 pounds. So I'm not really sure how this is going to end up happening. But this is one of those. Normally, I don't give credit to the Paul brothers. And, I give them credit for being great on social media and creating a lot of buzz for the sport. I give him credit for getting in the round with Anthony Joshua. This is not like a Mike Tyson fight where Tyson's 60 years old.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Travion Henderson, and a few others have the Pats at 9-2. Is excellence back in New England, Joe?
Excellence is back in a big way. Mike Vrabel came back into town. Drake May has come out of his shell, and Travion Henderson has come out of, I don't know where he was. He was in obscurity, but he had 3 touchdowns on Thursday night.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, well, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, well, that's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The Early Line, only on Sports.